Alabama visiting Texas A&M in the SEC on CBS Game of the Week. Crimson Tide lead the all-time series 9-2, Alabama having won the last 6 in the series. And Nick Saban 17-0 against former assistants, facing Jimbo Fisher, former assistant they coached together at LSU. And it was Fisher's Aggies that strike first. Kellen Mond sneaks it in for the score. Texas A&M up 7-0.
Nice opening drive for A&M, but it didn't take long for Alabama to answer.
Caps a 15-play, 75-yard opening drive that ate up over 8 minutes of clock time. Ensuing Alabama possession, Jalen Waddle, first touchdown of the season. Yeah. We are knotted at 7.
I mean, how many times have we seen Tua just throw a 5-yard pass that turns into a 34-yard touchdown?
Next Bama possession, Tua, slant to Devontae Smith, coming off that 5-touchdown game he had at Ole Miss a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, he had a bad game, only, 1 touchdown?
Yeah, pedestrian.
No question.
Bama up 14-7, Tua pumped. Tua now buying some time. It's Najee Harris, who is up over 100 yards rushing in this game for just the second time this season.
Yes, nice complete game for Najee, but Najee and Robinson, they have done a real good job catching the football out of the backfield, providing another element, successful element to this offense.
Third touchdown pass of the half, all of them coming on third down for Tua, but Tua makes his first mistake. Picked off in the red zone, first interception of the season, first interception in 186 attempts, B-Mac.
Yes, he's been very, very efficient with the football, smart with the football, but this is a great play from the secondary mates there from A&M.
Redemption for Tua, not that he needed it. Dropping a dime to Henry Ruggs.
Nice route combination, nice ball placement from Tua. I mean, this is what we see from this offense time and time again. Look at the ball placement.
34-13, beautiful. Almost 300 yards, 4 touchdowns, and that interception. Early fourth, Bama up 40-20. Braden Mann's punt gets blocked. Scoop.
Score.
And score.
This secured the cover for Alabama.
It did. It was significant for some, significant for myself, significant for you. Bama 47-20 at that point. They win 48-27, winning by 19 total. Goes over 61.5, so that cashes. For the second consecutive season, Tua Tagovailoa threw his first interception of the season after throwing 26 touchdown passes. I mean, that's wild. So Alabama 6-0. Up next for them is Tennessee, and Alabama taking care of business on the road against their first-ranked opponent since facing Clemson in the College Football National Championship last season. Let's go beyond the box score. 6-0 start for Alabama once again. Each win has come by at least 19 points, and Tua becomes Alabama's all-time leader with 81 touchdown passes. Saban 18-0 against former assistants. A&M 6 straight losses against AP number ones. They faced Clemson earlier this season, and they lost.
Tough schedule.
Yes, tough schedule. Real tough schedule for Jimbo Fisher. But hey, you know, Kellen Mond wasn't that bad. They'll build upon that. And as we mentioned, Alabama covers the 17-point spread just barely, but that's all that matters if you had it, and the over hits at 61 and a hook. And for more, we now welcome in the man who called this game, Gary Danielson on CBS. Gary, another win for Alabama. It seems like it's rinse and repeat. How would you evaluate this victory on the road?
Well, I think there's some great news here for the Alabama football team. Watching Anthony Jennings and Terrell Lewis come off the edge, you know, that has been missing on this football team. They're getting better every week. The offensive line is getting better. And now slowly the health of Terrell Lewis and Anthony Jennings, you can see if they get an edge rusher to add to this defense, this team is going to be really tough to beat.
Gary, what will be the difference between this year's team compared to last year's team at the 6-0 mark?
Well, everything was so easy last year, which is kind of the way it is this year. I think just the realization, right, that, you know, things didn't finish well. Just being able to coach hard like Nick Saban's going to do. And I don't think anyone's going to just say, well, yeah, Coach, we're not listening to you, because it ended up they couldn't finish that season. They know at the end of the year when they play against LSU, Auburn on the road, Georgia, if they face them now in the SEC Championship, Ohio State, Clemson, Oklahoma, they know that they're going to get challenged. So they're going to keep their nose to the grindstone. They're going to keep trying to compete every week to get better because they want to finish this championship that they thought they didn't finish the way they wanted a year ago.
Speaking of challenges, you mentioned at the end of the broadcast there, Nick Saban kind of giving a challenge to his offense. What did you see there?
Right. Well, he's been concerned that it's just been a finesse football team. That, yes, we know we can throw the ball. We know we can throw the slants. We know we can throw the RPOs. But what happens when we get into one of those games? What if we're playing LSU and our defense can't handle Joe Burrow and those receivers? And we got a 3-point lead and we've got 2:40 on the clock and we can put the game away from our offense. I think he challenged them at the 4-minute mark or 6-minute mark, right about that time, and at the 2-minute mark. Let's see if you can do it. Let's do things that we have to do to finish football games with the football and keep the football. There's a lot of pride in doing that, and that's the way I think why Tua was in the game and why they were running those plays so physically at the end of the game.
And Gary, I know you're there at Kyle Field, and I'm sure a lot of the reaction around that stadium getting wind that Georgia gets upset at home against South Carolina. What does this mean for the rest of the country and specifically the SEC?
Well, I think the rest of the country has just had a party about this. I mean, I think that's going to make it really tough for two teams in this league to get into the playoffs. One team obviously is going to get there, but the 2 sell is going to be a tough sell now. So that means 3 other teams and an SEC team get there. You know, there's a lot of good teams vying for those spots. Also, I think the Notre Dame football team was going, that's the team we did not need to lose. They wanted Georgia to run the table.
All right, there you have it. Georgia getting upset at South Carolina, going to change things up certainly in the rankings and going to rile some feathers there in Athens. But they'll continue to march on, as Kirby Smart said after that game. We won't worry about what other people are saying. We'll continue to tighten up and we'll work on our program to get better. Gary Danielson joining us here on CBS Sports HQ. Gary, appreciate the insight. Appreciate the time as always here on HQ.
Thanks, guys.